Okay, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're going to shatter a massive illusion, a myth that is currently holding millions of people back from building true generational wealth. We're talking about escaping what I like to call financial stagnation. You know, if you've ever felt like you're working incredibly hard, but not actually getting any wealthier, well, this is absolutely for you. Seriously, I want you to ask yourself, why won't a bank manager hand you a 1 crore business loan just because you have a B.Tech degree? Think about it. Our whole society is completely obsessed with degree papers. We're told from day one that a degree is your golden ticket to success. But when you actually need capital, like cold hard cash to expand a business, buy a house, or really scale your dreams, that piece of paper alone isn't going to get you a single rupee from the bank. Now, what's really fascinating here is the massive disconnect between what we're taught and how the real world actually operates. See, society demands academic IQ and university degrees, but the bank demands financial IQ and a solid financial statement. This is exactly why you so often see less conventionally educated people securing massive loans and building huge businesses. They might not have the fancy academic accolades, but they have absolutely mastered what the bank actually cares about. So here's our roadmap for today's masterclass. First, the degree myth. Second, the 4 pillars. Third, the 50-30-20 rule. And finally, investing in debt management. Let's stop living in financial ignorance and start building that financial IQ. Let's kick things off with section 1, the degree myth, and face a pretty hard truth about our education system. Think about this. Entrepreneurship is understood by the entrepreneur, right? Yet we expect underpaid teachers who are maybe earning around 50,000 rupees a month and dealing with their own mortgages and personal liabilities to teach our future generations how to build immense wealth or run global businesses. I mean, it's just not possible. It's like asking a mechanic to perform open heart surgery. Finance is truly taught by those whose own finances are actually thriving. You simply can't learn to build an empire from someone struggling to pay their own bills. All right, moving right along to section 2, the 4 pillars. This right here is your ultimate scorecard for wealth. And here they are, the absolute foundation of your personal financial statement. Income, expenses, assets, and liabilities. Sounds pretty simple, doesn't it? Yet the data is wild. 8 out of 10 people in developing countries like India cannot accurately define these 4 things. They're essentially living a life of financial negligence, just letting money come in and go out without any real awareness. Listen, if you want to build wealth, these 4 pillars absolutely must become your new obsession. So the crucial point here is keeping it simple. What is an asset? Put simply, an asset must actively put money into your pocket. We're not talking about complex textbook accounting definitions here. We are talking about real-world financial IQ. If you own a piece of real estate that pays you rent every month, or a business that kicks back dividends, boom, that's an asset. It brings money in. Conversely, look at the definition of a liability. It's something that takes money out of your pocket. Now, this is exactly where people get tripped up. A lot of folks think their personal car is an asset. But as Robert Kiyosaki famously points out, a car takes money out of your pocket every single month. You've got gas, insurance, maintenance. Therefore, it's a liability. Period. Your ultimate goal is to build up those assets and ruthlessly slash your liabilities. When you put these 4 pillars together, a crystal clear picture emerges. Take your income, subtract your expenses, and you get your profit. That's what you pay taxes on. But the real magic, that's the second formula. Assets minus liabilities equals your net worth. This is your true financial weight. This is exactly what the bank looks at when they're deciding if they can trust you with capital. Your focus should always be on increasing that bottom line, your true net worth. Now that we've nailed down the 4 pillars, we need to actually manage them. Let's look at section 3, the 50-30-20 rule to tackle budgeting and execution. But before we dive into the specific rule, I want you to consider this number, 4 lakhs. This upcoming budgeting rule specifically applies to individuals earning an annual income below this 4 lakh rupee threshold. Why? Well, because once you start earning above that level, your life, your emotions, and your fundamental lifestyle costs shift, which usually allows you to save a much higher percentage. But if you're under this annual threshold, you need a really strict framework. And here is that framework, the famous 50-30-20 rule. Let's say you're bringing home between 25,000 and 50,000 rupees a month. 50% of that goes straight to your absolute needs: food, water, school fees, shelter. Next, 30% can go towards your desires. You know, the things you want but don't strictly need. And then 20%, absolutely non-negotiable, must go directly into savings. This is how you protect your family's future and start piling up the capital required to buy those assets. Let's anchor this math with a highly relatable example. Imagine you want to buy a killer pair of shoes that cost 10,000 rupees. You look at your bank account, you see you've got a month's salary of 25,000 rupees sitting there, and you think, hey, I can afford this. But wait, apply the rule. 30% of a 25,000 rupee salary is only 7,500 rupees. That means you literally cannot afford that 10,000 rupee shoe without totally destroying your budget and putting your financial future in danger. Honestly, there is some incredible cultural wisdom to be found right here. Look at the traditional practices of Gujarati and Marwadi Baniyas. They completely understand the absolute importance of preserving capital. Deliberately saving that 20% ensures you don't just blow all your hard-earned cash. It's really all about respecting the money you make, keeping it safe, and setting the stage for major growth.
But listen, saving alone isn't going to make you rich, because inflation will just slowly eat away at your purchasing power. That brings us to Section 4, Investing and Debt Management.
Let's walk through this logical progression together. Step 1 is exactly what we just discussed. Lock in and save that 20% consistently. Step 2 is deploying that capital. If you're starting small, exchange-traded funds or ETFs are just a fantastic way to begin investing and actually beating inflation. Then, as your wealth and your financial IQ grow, true investors start diversifying into heavier assets like real estate. And finally, Step 3. This is where you pour gasoline on the fire, mastering debt. There is a wildly stark contrast between how the poor use debt and how the wealthy use it. Bad debt just drains you. We're talking borrowing to buy the latest iPhone, taking out high-interest personal loans for lavish weddings, or dealing with medical emergencies out of pocket just because you skipped buying health insurance. Good debt, on the other hand, builds your asset column. Think home loans to build equity or borrowing to expand a profitable business that is already printing money. And guys, this is exactly how the titans of industry operate. The wealthiest entrepreneurs out there like Ratan Tata and Mukesh Ambani, they use good debt and leverage to absolutely maximize their profits. They aren't just using their own cash. If a business yields a great return on 1 crore, they'll use bank debt to turn that into 10 crores of leverage. The result? Massive multiplied returns, all while easily paying off the relatively low interest of the loan. It's brilliant. Of course, to access that kind of leverage, you have to prove you're trustworthy, right? By taking on debt and managing it perfectly, meaning you pay it back on time every single time, you actively boost your CIBIL score, your credit rating. A high score proves to the bank that your financial statement is rock solid, which ensures they'll eagerly hand over the leverage you need to build even bigger assets down the line. Which brings us to our final question for today. Are you ready to stop living in financial negligence? Are you ready to meticulously track your income, slash those expenses, eliminate the bad liabilities, and start aggressively acquiring assets? Because that is how you build your ultimate scorecard for wealth. The choice is completely yours. Take control of your financial statement today, and I guarantee your future self will thank you.